going on, my dudes? Thanks for hanging out and drinking with two dudes and a mic. I'm your host, Mike, and as always, I'm sitting across from my favorite dude. Gus, what's going on today, man?
I'm good, man. I'm excited. I'm excited about the guest we got today.
Yes, me too.
We got a different shot tonight, too, which is kind of exciting.
In studio today, we have one of the world's best graffiti artists, and that's me coining it. Sorry, you heard it here first.
All good. I'll take it.
He is currently the subject of a soon-to-be-released documentary, Graffiti, the Art That Changes the City. It's going to be on CBC. He's done work in Canada, the States, UK, Ireland, France, and he just
Windsor born.
He just did a massive mural in the city of Windsor for frontline workers for the COVID-19 pandemic. Sitting to my left, graffiti writer and muralist, DERKZ. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on the show. You know, the setup's amazing. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
And let's get weird.
So here we go. We start our shows right off the hop with a shot, and this is what Drew was talking about. We're going to be doing Fireball and Rum Chata, and this is suggested by Carol from the City Barbershop. So we're going to do these shots. Everybody listening?
Shout out Carol.
Here we go. All the dudes. Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.
Shalama. What was it supposed to be again?
I don't get Cinnamon Toast Crunch. She said it's supposed to taste like Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
It's like a cinnamon toasty kind
A little
of.
bit. I get more like obviously the Fireball, but
Yeah.
a hint of like cream.
But now
We'll take it.
now we got these beer cracks. So.
Yeah. Here we go. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, wait. There
Yeah.
it is.
He's acting like it's a beer. It's OV.
That's a nice
I
version.
don't know. I can't knock Bobby.
Gus, what are you drinking? Honest Lager.
I
was going to switch it up. I got a new one for my next beer.
I like Guinness, but like it's missing that like carbonation for me. Like if it was carbonated, not so like watery, you know what I mean? Like that water like
Yep.
feel. If it was carbonated, I'd like it a lot more. But
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm drinking Guinness. Gus, you got Honest Lager.
I've been to the Guinness brewery twice in
Yeah?
Ireland, so yeah, I've had it right out of the home base,
Like right out of the vat,
right
just
out of the
straight up.
Yeah, they use I don't know if you guys knew, but yeah, they use like the river water that's like in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
And they take like that's like their secret was like their actual river water from Ireland that they brew their Guinness with. I guess that was like their ultimate secret, and I guess it's working because it's like
It tastes great. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not bad once in a while.
And I've done like a few shows now where I didn't do the Guinness, and so I got to get back onto it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just tastes good.
Yeah.
So the new Windsor Mural.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of questions about this.
Yeah.
First
worries.
one being, who asked you to do this? Like, did somebody commission you to do this?
No, not technically. I wanted to do something nice and give back to the community. And the only way I knew how was obviously like through public art. Like that's kind of my own little niche type
So
thing.
you did this for free?
At first, yeah, I wanted to. I went up to them, and the thing was, I went up to the penalty box and like Van Niferos and his team. And Nick, his son, I went up with an idea about like 6 months ago during the pandemic when it first like hit, and I wanted to do something nice, give something back. Like I said, the only way I knew how was through like a public street art mural, and they wanted to do something nice as well, and we kind of just crossed paths at the perfect timing, and they're like going through like some like food like donations to the field hospital and through Met obviously, and just came up and offered this. I wanted to donate this mural to them, and they're stoked about it. They wanted to do it ASAP, and it's been probably like 6 months since we started. Yeah, just 'cause,
So there was a lot of like pre-work done before you actually started painting, right?
Yeah, it's been, like I said, like 6 months involved, and finally getting the okay and everything, and then finishing up other gigs and other jobs. So, it's been in the process for a bit. So,
Do you have to get permits and stuff?
No, a lot of people do, but I out of the like 5 years professionally I've been painting, I've never had to get a permit.
Yeah.
So
it's always on somebody's, like it's on somebody's building or property or something, and they give you authorization.
It's they're authorizing it, so it's all good. But yeah, like the startup of it was like I was saying that my mom's been a nurse for 40 years, and most of her majority of her occupation was at Met Hospital, like right around the corner from Penalty Box. And she was there, and she worked in ICU for about 20 years or 25 years. And then she also worked at like the old Hotel Dieu on Olet. And I wanted to give something back to the community. And I have a whole family full of nurses and doctors. And my sister Amy and her husband Matt, they're on the front lines when the pandemic hit. Was in Ann Arbor in Michigan. So it hit really close at home. And I just wanted to give something back. So I was like, That's kind of the main motivator behind it.
And for people who don't know, because this thing is enormous. Like
Yeah.
it is a very large mural. This is not a small. You said this is what, 20 feet?
Yeah, well,
Tall.
it's Canada's largest, one of Canada's largest frontline healthcare worker murals. It might even be the biggest. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure it's the biggest. Like, so yeah, it's about 20 feet high by like 80 feet long.
That's
and
insane.
Just packed corner to corner. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a big mural. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're saying corner to corner. It's literally, there's something in every inch of that wall.
Of course. I like to paint like that. Like I see other artists or street artists or muralists, they have this massive wall and they only take up a little section in the middle. And I don't know, I've always been like, whatever I can get, I'll take up every square inch and every square foot. I'll just pack it full.
Yeah.
That's just always been like my thing. Even when I was starting graffiti, like as a kid, I always used to paint the biggest out of everybody I knew for some reason. I just like to go big and just paint.
When you go into it, like, when you thought, I'm going to paint on that wall that's 20 feet by 80 feet, do you have like the full image in your head of what it's going to be? Or do you just kind of, you have a general idea and then you just add some, moments to it?
Yeah, no, I kind of had a basis of kind of what I wanted to go off of. I definitely wanted to get a local nurse and a local doctor from Windsor. And the woman on the left, she used to actually work at Penalty Box. Her name's Jamie Osborne. She worked at the COVID unit in Met, and then she also worked at the field hospital at St. Clair that they set up. And then the gentleman on the right is Dr. Eli Malice. He's been in his practice for about 15 years, and he hopped around through Windsor, Essex, and Chatham and London as I believe, I don't want to butcher it, he might be a surgeon, I'm not sure, but he's been in his field for about 15 years. So
is this the biggest mural you've ever done? The Windsor one?
No. No, I think it's the second largest I've done. Only by like a few feet.
Really?
Like maybe like 10 feet difference.
And that's it?
Yeah.
Is it harder to do the big ones compared to like a smaller?
No, well, it depends. Like small, I consider like a 10 by 10 is like small, but I like to paint like at least upwards of that.
It gives you more option?
Yeah, it just gives you more option, more space, more like freedom, creative ability to like kind of like showcase yourself on the wall. And
right.
Yeah.
Are you going to offer like prints of that mural?
Yeah, so that was one thing about it is we finished it about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So we have prints involved, and at the end of that, yeah, we're getting high quality photos of it. 50% of the purchases in the of that will go towards a COVID relief fund. So you can get it like a nice wall print. It's a decent, really big size print. Normally they're kind of small, but I wanted to, like I said, I always like to do big things. Yeah. So I was like, the print's actually big, and then we're also doing like a run of, that one's gonna be I think a run of like 250 or like 200, and then we're also doing like a super limited rare edition of even in a larger print of like, I think it's like 1.5 feet by like 4 feet or 3 feet, 3.5 feet.
Holy shit! Yeah,
and we're doing a run of, yeah, it's big. If you look at it on the wall, it's pretty big. So we're doing that of run of 15, and then all those 50% of all those sales will go right towards a COVID relief fund. So.
Is that going to be a local fund?
Yeah. I haven't found exactly what I'm gonna donate to yet, but it'll definitely be a local like Windsor fund for sure.
That's a pretty cool
Yeah,
move.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Especially like the whole concept that you wanted to do it for free.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking back to that, we're gonna jump back to Van, the owner of Penalty Box Nifros. Yeah, he was super generous, and I went up to him just wanting to donate everything, and he was super generous to offer money for the lift, all the spray paint, all the supplies, and that can run upwards of like thousands of dollars. And then,
really?
Yeah. So their team and Van and Nick, and give them a shout out. They're amazing people. Yeah, they made it happen, and I wasn't wanting to go up with any preconceived idea of money I'd get. I just wanted to donate it, but yeah, he was generous enough to get supplies and more some. So yeah, I couldn't be more happy. And they just wanted to get
dollars.
Yeah. But speaking of the lift, though, one of our questions: do you own your own lift, or do you plan on owning your own lift?
No,
do you have to rent every time?
No,
or?
we usually rent. Like in the graffiti and street art world, you just kind of rent. No one really has their own lift because like you get flown out different places, so it's like Van. He also actually had someone else on his team that knew someone from United Rentals actually donated the lift for the 2 weeks. So that's a shout out to United Rentals. They're amazing. Wow. And yeah, they donated the lift for 2 weeks, so I do really appreciate that, and Van and the team do as well. So
that's awesome.
They should have given you free delights for the rest of your life.
No, every time they fed me amazing. Like Van, every time I show up, so man, you hungry? Like I could eat like 10 minutes before, and I can be like, man,
awesome.
I'm so full, like, I can't eat, and then he'll just give me a chicken delight and make sure I eat it. You know what I mean? He's like one of those people that if you leave here hungry, like shame on you type people.
Those things are so good.
Yeah, they are.
I just ordered one like 2-3 days ago.
Yeah,
my God, I get one like once a week.
Really? I'm usually like once every other month.
I work fairly close to there, so
there's too much mayonnaise in that sauce, man. It can't be good for you.
I mean, it's probably not the best for you, but they're so good.
They're so good.
Oh, and the yellow sauce for the fries. Dip your fries in yellow sauce.
I might go for one after this podcast.
We should just order it here.
Yeah,
we should
have it delivered.
Yeah.
Of all the murals that you've done in Windsor, because you have a bunch.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite? One that you're like most? I mean, I get it. They're all your babies, but like, do you have one you're the most proud of?
Probably that one, the penalty box one. They all hold like a special place in your heart, and like I feel like as an artist, you kind of are your worst critic, and every time you paint like one, you kind of feel like you can do something different or something better, improve. But this one really, like I said, it was the most impactful. It's like one of the bigger ones. It's one of the biggest healthcare murals in Windsor in Canada. So yeah, it definitely holds true to kind of like what I wanted to portray on the wall, and it just hits home.
How many do you think you've done in Windsor?
In Windsor, I don't even know, like at least 30 maybe.
Holy
30
Jesus.
or 40. So they're around. It's like the little diamond in a rough. If you're like, it's always liked about graffiti, or like I said in my past, like I used to tag trains and underpasses, but yeah, you kind of have to like seek it out and find it for yourself, whether it's like a mural on the back of a building or in an alley, or like my illegal stuff. You kind of have to get off the beaten path and go under an underpass or go like near a creek or an abandoned building. And I feel like that was like what spoke to me most when I first got into it was like kind of finding these little hidden spots, and you can kind of just stay there like all day and just paint. And yeah, it's just one of those things that if you come across it, you're kind of lucky to see it. And
what's the riskiest position you've ever put yourself in to tag something?
Oh man, so many times.
Because I always I'm driving through Detroit and I see those overpasses. I'm like, how the fuck did you get?
Yeah.
Because there's no way. There's a fence that's 12 feet tall over top.
Yeah.
Like, how do you suspend yourself?
Detroit is another animal and stuff. Actually, not anymore, kind of, because like 5 years ago, it was like a graffiti paradise, and it was littered with graffiti. Now you go over it, everything's buffed, everything's cleaned.
Clean slate?
Yeah, everything's like
just
clean
kidding.
slate.
Don't
and,
go
like,
tag in Detroit. They're having enough issues.
Like worldwide, international people just used to fly to Detroit just to crush the city and just
really
paint illegally. Yeah, just because it was just a playground of graffiti.
So like, how do they get some of those ones that are literally in the middle of an overpass? You just hang off the edge?
Yeah, people climb fences, climb like the gates, climb over things, and just like scale like this underpass or overpass and risk their life just to write their name on shit.
And some of them are pretty terrible. Like you, Gus, you or I could do a better job of writing our name.
Well, some of them, but
sometimes
at the same time,
like I've seen ones that are just black and it just says like rocks.
But
how
good
really?
How good could you paint if you're like hanging off the side of an overpass and there's
dangling
like,
from a rope,
transport trucks coming, like, and you're like, oh, I just gotta get my name up here.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The graffiti culture is weird because like only people that write graph and like are graffiti writers kind of understand like the motives behind things, and especially tagging. Like for the first person that sees a tag for the first time, like, oh, it's like so ugly, or I can't read it, and it's just scribbles. Like, but in the graffiti culture, if you have a great hand style and like you tag a lot, you're kind of very respected. And yeah, it might not make a lot of sense to other people, but for the people that actually like tag and crush like the cities, and it holds like a certain
well, some of them, I'm sure, like, I'm not saying that specifically.
No,
the ones I've seen are legit, like a guy with a, a Walmart paint can, and it just says, like, rocks, and it's just written like I would write it.
Yeah.
It's like, why do that? That's so ugly.
Like, I've spray painted many times in my life, like, painting things or trying to, like, put some color, or, like, even just writing an address on a garbage pail or something.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get that can control? Like every time I try it, I'm like, I'm going to do a great job on this. Like, I'm just going to write this
and
number.
There's drips. It runs.
It just drips everywhere. It looks terrible. Like, how do you harness that?
No, yeah, it's like, it's definitely, it takes time. Like, can control is like the main thing in graffiti, and that's kind of what I implemented into my career now. Is like, I'm grateful for my start in graffiti because you get to learn the can so well, and by tagging the streets and painting the streets, and you can kind of implement that into like your mural work and street art stuff. But yeah, it takes like years and years of writing your name repeatedly, like hundreds to thousands of times, and you finally kind of get like that motion and that flow, and you evolve your tag every time you kind of paint it. And it's just like anything, like building a house or playing guitar. It feels so like foreign. Like I would pick up a guitar right now and I'll be like, I don't even know how to like strum or hit one chord, or how to place your fingers is awkward. But it's like anything like that. Just the more you do it, kind of like you get like obviously
now it's
better
just
at
fluid.
Yeah, it's fluid.
It's
after
easy
a
for you.
moment. Yeah, exactly.
Do you have like special nozzles?
Yeah.
Like, do you swap if you buy a can of paint, like the paint that we have down here for you?
Yeah.
Do you ever pull the nozzle off and put your own on, or does that not matter?
Back in the day, you could, like 10, 15 years ago, you could, but now they implemented like a stem system, and it's called a female system, like a female cap. Like a male cap is what you would think a normal spray paint cap is. Like you pull it out and there's a little stem, you can stick it in anything. But now, like on those cans, like the hardware store cans, they have a female cap system where instead of the cap going in, there's like a straw sticking out, and then you need like a fatter
to go over top
something
of
to go over
to
go over top of it. And they're specialty made and they're whack and no one likes them. But now they have adapters where people like hand make these adapters where you put it on the stem and you can use those normal spray paint caps that everyone knows them as. But
good luck later.
But yeah, now they like over the years they made European paints and specialty paints that are like actually made for graffiti and murals, where you can use you can buy any cap you need, whether it's like a fat cap with high output or like a soft cap or a skinny cap or an ultra skinny cap.
So it changes the flow.
Yeah, it changes the flow, but you still have to like if a normal person that's not used to spray paint, it'd still be messy and sloppy, but you have to have that control to like kind of guide it and gauge like kind of like what you want to do with it.
That Windsor Mural, you've got it fading from one color fading into another, like a blend, almost like you took like liquid paint and smeared it with your thumb and brought it across, and it goes from one shade to another. How the hell do you do that?
Big gradients like that come in with like paint sprayers and like background like layering and stuff, but like normally you can do it, but not like on a large scale like that. You need a paint sprayer, whether you bought it or rented it.
So is that what you used?
Yeah, I used a lot of paint sprayers for like normally like I prime my backgrounds with whatever, like a paint sprayer, and then hit all my background work with paint sprayers, and then 90 or 100% of the actual artwork is all spray paint. So
do you ever like think in your head about like Bob Ross?
All day.
And like that's a happy little nurse right there.
Happy little nurse, happy little stem, happy little tree.
Don't tell anybody about that little nurse. That's our little secret.
I'll hide it in there, you know. Bob Ross is a saint.
Did you ever watch him? Did you watch him, sir?
I never. I came across him like as a kid and stuff. But I never like watched him, but he was a household name, obviously.
You should go for him as Halloween, I think. That'd be sick.
A great idea.
Yeah.
That is a pretty good.
You should go as him. You kind of look like him a little bit if you had an afro.
If you had an afro,
I'll just grow my hair out. Yeah.
There you
go. You'd be the pasty Bob Ross.
There you go. Well, if I got a big brown afro, I could pull it off.
The very first time you picked up a can, was it rebellious or was it just this is going to be cool?
So no, the first time I picked up a can is like I think I was like 13 or 14, and what encouraged me was like my brother's buddy Brett. He actually got me into graffiti, and he started like tagging before I even knew what it was, and like before I even knew kind of the realm of graffiti. And I saw him like tagging a piece of paper and doing like a pencil piece with it's all colored, and I was like, damn man, like that's actually fucking sick. Like what is that? Like I think I was like grade 6, 7, 8 or something.
Yeah.
And I saw like a stylized like letter form and like this weird tagged out stylized like hand or like a signature, but it's like a hand style in graffiti world. And ever since then I got so interested in that, and I was like, man, what is that? And he kind of showed me, and ever since then I kind of got bit by that graffiti bug, and I started seeing it around Windsor and started seeing it around my environment, like just driving down the street and seeing mailboxes, and I was like, oh, there's another tag, there's this tag. And that's kind of how I got like introduced to graffiti, and ever since then I was kind of kept at it.
So, like, what drew you to the paint can though, instead of something else? Like, we have a lot of friends who do, I don't know, brush art and stuff. Like, they're actual painters on canvas and stuff. What drew you to the spray paint?
Well, I've always started in spray paint. Like,
you had no interest in doing...
I wasn't even doing art until, like, I started graffiti when I was, like, 13, 14. I didn't even pick up a pencil and start drawing until I was, like, 21 or 22. So...
Wow.
Yeah, like, I took one art class in high school, and it was like whatever. I like, didn't even go to it and whatnot, you know. But yeah, it's always been spray paint. It's always been graffiti. It's always been illegal tags and bombing and painting trains and underpasses. And
how'd you know you could do it?
really didn't. I don't know. I just fell in love with it because like I feel like looking back now, like in 2020 hindsight, yeah, just a lot of like I was really quiet in grade like 9 and 10, and I found graffiti at like grade 8, grade 9, and it kind of when I got into it, and I was like, I always painted by myself. Like I was always just painting the streets by myself and painting trains, and I never knew any artists. Like even till a couple of years ago, I didn't really even paint with anyone. It just I always felt like I was that anomaly that I was like, how are people like knowing other graffiti artists and knowing other artists and they're painting with each other? I was like, why am I like not in that group or meeting people? I was like, why am I just in that? I just found it so strange. Even to this day, I think about it, but. Yeah, I used to paint by myself a lot, and like when I was starting graffiti, I had no idea where it'd bring me. And when I started like painting, I used to write Nope, like Nope, and I used to paint that around the city and for years. And then people started kind of knowing me through graffiti without even actually knowing me personally or in person.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's like the big connection for me was that like it gave me kind of an outlet and like kind of this other like this. Not like an ego, but this other like person.
An alter ego.
Yeah, like an alter ego.
Yeah. Alter ego.
Yeah. So it gave me like this name that people just knew me strictly by my graffiti work and my tags and my bombing, but didn't even know me. And that's kind of like it gave me that outlet and that name. So I kind of like I feel like looking back, that's kind of why like I gripped onto it so hard.
Yeah.
Because I was super quiet, and it gave me like a loud voice in the graffiti scene in Windsor. So
I saw some of your work where you did 2 artists. Some of your stuff on Instagram, you're like DERKZ did the right side and somebody else did the left side.
No, yeah, I just
do you like doing like collaborations better?
No, like I just said, like I just started getting into collaborations. I didn't know a lot of artists. I was like trying to figure out why, but no, it just kind of organically happened. But yeah, Denial's been in the mix for like years. Like he's been in the game I think for like 25 years now, and yeah, we're buddies. He's killing it. He's done a lot for Windsor. And
would you ever do one with him?
Yeah, we've done some in the past, and I just did a recent one, the one that you liked a lot behind the squirrel cage, the
on Maiden Lane there.
Yeah, Maiden Lane. He actually got me that wall, so I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, I painted with him in Toronto, and we're always talking collabs, and we're both busy, but we're gonna.
What do you like more? Collaboration or doing your whole mural yourself?
Fuck, I don't know, man. Like I like it both. Like I like taking creative freedom over it sometimes, but then also like connecting with artists and seeing their vibe and seeing their outlet and their like outlook on art, and
kind of getting the best of both worlds though, really. Like you can do your own and you can collaborate with somebody else.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
What were these ones that you did? I saw something with like you painted something for Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
And then you went to his house and delivered it.
Yeah, it was a crazy experience. He was in Windsor for like Blues Fest or something like a couple years ago, and
right.
Yeah, he came. He was obviously doing like the headline shows, like a '90s like whatever for Blues Fest, and
which makes sense. Yeah. Ice Babies, very bluesy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Well, they always do bluesy, and then they also do like the hip hop night, which is I got commissioned through the Blues Fest and through my buddy AJ who reached out. But the year prior, I did like Fetty Wap. I painted a canvas of Fetty Wap, and he performed. And he didn't end up seeing it because, like, whatever. I was just like, I came late, and I was like, whatever. He didn't end up seeing it. But the following year, my buddy AJ got me the commission. I was painting, and then he ended up seeing it when he was on stage. And he, like, talked to his manager. He's like, oh, man, I want to see that painting. So we got backstage, which is, like, hell to get to because it's, like, Vanilla Ice, you know what I mean? So we had to go through, like, a bunch of security, and we weren't supposed to be there. And we got into the green room. We're like, man, like, I always did this for you, and blah, blah, blah. And he saw it. He's like, man, I'd love that piece. I was like, man, let's get it to you type thing. So long story short, me and AJ kind of booked it, and then we're like, let's deliver this to your house in West Palm Beach, Florida. And he saw it, he loved it. Like I remember in the green room talking to him, like, man, let's check this out. And he's like, yeah, I'll check it out in like 5 minutes, like, you know, kind of not in a rude way. He's like, yeah, I'll check it out. And his manager came up to us. He's like, yeah, he's gonna look at it in 5 minutes. And we're like, oh, okay, like whatever. Obviously not. He ain't coming out to look at art. And then like little did we know, like 5 minutes later, everyone's like, yo, where's Ice? And we're like looking around. We see this fucking golf cart peel off. We're like, what the fuck is like? Everyone's like, that's ice. He's going to. He like peeled out in this golf cart across this parking lot right to the mural. And we're like, damn, he actually showed up and he loved it. He's like, man, I would love this at my house. So we put it in AJ's van and we made a 24-hour trek right to West Palm Beach, Florida. And yeah, we went to his compound and hand delivered it to him, and he hung it in like his guy den, I guess you would say. He has like hundreds of trophies of like his BMX career and all of his like plaques, and he took us like this crazy tour of his like big compound. He had like massive mansions there, and he showed us like all these platinum plaques and all these like old school costumes that he used for like Ice Ice Baby like videos, and yeah, it was crazy. So
he's a busy dude. That guy's like real estate and still doing music and still doing
he's still doing a bunch of crazy shit. Yeah, he's super cool too. He's humble.
Yeah,
he's just like you wouldn't think him as like a crazy icon like back in the day. Like he's still getting crazy royalties from
I was gonna say
song.
It's amazing how much that song is still played.
Yeah,
it's all the time.
And if somebody hears it, people go fucking nuts.
Yeah, and that's what he like. We were chatting with him, and he's just like, man, like I just want to be stuck in the '90s. Like anything he does, he's like, because the '90s was a great era. Like I was born in '91, I didn't get to experience it fully, but at least I was born in the '90s. You guys are a little older. You guys got it. Experience it fully.
Yeah,
and looking back, like the music and just the culture back then was like so like it was out of the 80s, it was out of the 70s, but it was in this like new little.
It was transforming into something.
Yeah, and that was like the nucleus of like great music and horrible fashion.
It was, like, and then I find like the 2000s and the 2010s and stuff they're kind of like just bland and generic,
Up
right?
until now, it's mumble rap and generic. But in the early 2000s, like you got some great like alternative rock songs that were like amazing.
Oh,
and like you know what I mean? Like that was the 2000s.
You did a couple of mansions in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
What did you do? Inside work? Like inside the house?
At first, it was this massive project, which it's a long story, but the way I got introduced...
We got time.
Yeah. The way I got introduced to the Vegas mansions was in like 2017, late 2017. It was like Christmas or something. And yeah, the way it all happened was... I don't know if anyone's familiar with it, but I don't know if you guys saw it, but the first viral video that ever came out of the first Vegas mansion was like Vegas themed and like poker and all this. I don't know if you saw it, but it had like 60 million views or something. Like I was like kind of at a low time in my life. Like I was going through a lot personally with relationships. I just moved back from Toronto to Windsor. I was there for like 3 or 4 years, and I got back. I saw this video, and I was like doing murals like full time, and I saw this video that had like 60 million views, and it was a Vegas mansion getting painted like entirely from top to bottom. Every single wall in the exterior is like a 11,000 square foot mansion or something. And I was just going, man, I'm so fucking jealous of that. Like that's all I've ever wanted is like big opportunities like that. And I was just super down in the dumps about stuff. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go out on a limb and just randomly message like this dude who I didn't know, like he ran it. I just came across like an artist or someone who's affiliated with it. He's not an artist. He ended up owning the mansion or part owner of it. And I just randomly like threw him a message. I was like, hey bro, like this is my work. Like I've been doing this for like X amount of years and blah, blah, blah. And he messaged me in like 5 minutes. So like I had no idea that it would, I was like, there's 60 million views on the thing. And I just inboxed him. This is my work, sent him some of my work. He's like, man, your work's fucking dope. Like, when can you get here? And I thought it was a joke. And, like, not even 5 minutes later, he's like, when can you get here? We're doing the next one, like, in, like, 2 weeks. So he's like, we'll fly you out. And it was so crazy because I was so down in the dumps and just so, like, overwhelmed with, like, life and relationships and this and that. And it was such a long shot. And he hit me up. He's like, bro, your shit's dope. We'll fly you out. So, like, the next flight of, like, 2 weeks later, like, I hopped on, went to Vegas, and we ended up painting this gingerbread Christmas mansion. It was around Christmas time, and painting this whole thing. It was all Christmas themed, and that's what I was telling you. I was like, we're working like 22-hour days, and
that's crazy.
No, it was insane. Like this, it was crazy. Like Lamborghinis everywhere, and like tons of people partying, and where there's 12 artists from around the world that showed up, and from like Ireland and like Australia, a bunch of people from Vegas, and it was crazy. So that's kind of like what sparked a lot of it. And yeah, I can just go on and on about that. But
then that got you to California?
Yeah, that got us to out of like 12 or 13 artists. The dude, my buddy Evan Barlow, artist lad, he's from the UK. He was the original dude on the first video. He got like 60 million views. And when I showed up at the mansion for the Christmas issue, he's the only one that was living there at that mansion at the time. And yeah, we did the whole Christmas mansion. We killed it. Everything was love. Like, we got a few million views off it. I think it was like 5 million or something.
Not just a few.
Yeah, just a couple.
And when I say we, not like me, I mean like the crew. And stuff. Like, it was a community like effort, and yeah, and then we had the opportunity to like, out of the 12 artists, me, artist lad, he was like the main dude from the last one, and he's like, after we finished it, he's like, man, we have an opportunity to go out and go to to Calabasas and paint Jake Paul's mansion. And out of like the 12 people, I was the only one that he selected, because I was like, I befriended him. He was a homie, and he was talking to the guys like, yo, this is the cat that, like, out of everybody that you need to bring on this trip. So he was impressed with my work, and then me and artist lad and my homie Luke, who was like the property manager there, we all flew, and he was a tattoo artist, so he can get down as well. Shout out to Luke, a man named Lucas, he's the homie. Shout out to artist lad, he's the homie, and everybody there, like Price Goodman, Kiki, but D Lord, all the homies that fucking were out there. Yeah, so we got an opportunity to go to Calabasas and pay for Jake Paul, and that's kind of where things like went crazy. And it was just me and artist lad in this 12,000 square foot mansion. It was like $20 million. Everyone was gone for Christmas. It was just me, him, and my homie Luke, and then Azadi. Azadi was like the owner of like the Christmas mansion, and it kind of just spiraled from there. And
so you just stayed there in the house?
Yeah, we stayed at Jake's for 2.5 months, living in his house, getting to know the whole Team 10, and lived there for like 2.5 months, painted like every room possible.
So who's Jake Paul?
He's a YouTube.
Isn't it Logan Paul?
It's his brother. They started out on Vine, and they're like the most famous YouTube people.
Well, I know King Botch or
these kids.
Batch? Is it King
Batch, I think.
Whatever.
But yeah, Jake and Logan are like the biggest on YouTube, and we stayed at Jake's, and just painted like everything from his pool to his fucking game room to his foyer. We painted, I think, like 10, 12 murals in his actual house, and it took like 2 months. And
holy shit.
Yeah, and then that spiraled out to like going to like Hollywood and painting for like this billionaire's son, like the penthouse suite in like West Hollywood. Like, it was insane. He was a billionaire. We painted his son's room, and it kind of like everything from there is kind of it's getting super crazy. So, but I can like talk about these things for hours.
So like you painted in is that what led you to paint in like all over the world? Like, you painted in Colorado and France and UK and
Yeah, no, not that specifically. Like, I was already kind of doing my thing before that happened, but that kind of pushed me into that direction of like painting with like high profile people. And then kind of everything, just like I came back to Windsor for like a year and just did my thing. Like, it's been nonstop for like 3 years, like every day, like all day. And not specifically that, but just opportunities kind of lended themselves to one another, and it kind of snowballed, and that kind of like brought me to like Miami, and then a lot of places in Colorado, and then back to LA and like France and the UK and Paris.
So now people are contacting you for this stuff.
Yeah, well, they've been since day one, since I started. Well, since I've been putting myself out there as like a muralist and stuff. They have always contacted me. The only person I went out and reached out to is the penalty box for like to pitch the idea for it.
Yeah.
But everything else, we're just snowballed into that.
Guys, before we do this mid-show shot, I have to tell you how good this crazy Uncle Hard Root Beer is. This is not a pitch, by the way. I know it sounds like I'm doing a pitch, but this thing is so fucking good. I'm going to buy one of these for every show, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It was tasty.
This is
drink one of those.
really good. Yeah. And I've got the cream soda. Actually, we're about to do the mid-show shot, and then I'm going to do this. I'm going to open the hard cream soda pop shop. This thing's 7%, by the way.
Yeah, that's pretty...
So I apologize now if the rest of the show gets sloppy.
If things go south.
If it gets south. So here we go. Let's grab these shots. So what's this on? Grapefruit vodka?
Grapefruit vodka, yep.
Grapefruit vodka. We got to switch these up.
Here we go.
All right. So everybody listen. All the dudes, guys, girls, here we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
See, that's a normal.
You know what? I think I actually really like that Fireball rum chata.
Me too.
Is that the go-to now?
I think so, yeah.
So thanks, Carol. We'll end the show with that. We'll do another rum chata and Fireball mix.
Yeah.
Supposed to be Cinnamon Toast Crunch. The first shot I didn't get that with, though.
We'll do a little more rum chata.
Put more in it, yeah. So it's creamy.
Yeah, I got some Honest Lager here. We've been drinking some different shots. What's your go-to beer? What do you drink normally?
Mine is like I used to work at a brewery in Toronto for a couple of years. Like I'm a craft brewer guy.
Which one?
Amsterdam Brew House.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's like the biggest brew house in Toronto. Man, I'm always on OV. Classic from here to Chatham. OV.
I was gonna say, what'd you do when you were in Toronto?
Actually, funny story. Like, yeah, obviously you find other beers. And like our brewery is amazing. Another go-to, like more like respectably. Like I love sour beers. Like a sour craft beer is my thing. But when I was in Toronto for like 4 years, my last year in Toronto, there was only one bar that had OV in the whole city, and I forget what it was, but we went there all the time. But it was like rare because like you can't find that past Chatham, you know what I mean? And I grew up on it. Every time I was like 3, 4, 5 years old, opening up the fridge, there's OV there. I was taking sips of my dad's beer when I was like 5, you know what I mean? And
what is it? It's Molson, right?
no, it's not. Is it Molson?
I think it's Molson.
Brand? Yeah, it's Old Vienna, but I don't know if it's a Molson brand.
Because I think during COVID they stopped making OV because Canadians sold so much more that they needed the cans to go to OV or to Canadian.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah, they stopped for like a month or something.
Yeah.
OV's a solid beer.
What about you? What's your go-to?
For me, it's Honest Lager. Like I'm a lager guy. I like pilsners.
Yeah.
I like different beers around the world, but when I'm home, it's Honest Lager.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like a wheat beer guy. Like I like my wit stuff.
I got a Belgian Moon in there.
You do. See, that's my shit too. I love Belgian.
Yeah.
My favorite, I know, like the Canadian country adapted like Belgian Moon, but in the States, Blue Moon. Have you ever had it?
Yeah.
Classic. I love that before they even had Belgian Moon. But yeah, Belgian Moon's amazing.
Yeah.
But any sour beer, I love sours and like.
But you know what though? Like I've had Hoegaarden and I can't.
I liked Hoegaarden.
I don't like it.
No.
And I don't. Have you ever had it in that glass?
Yeah,
they give you
glass.
the bucket.
Yeah, it's like a massive like.
It's like a bucket of fucking beer.
It's like a German bucket.
Yeah, to them that's a small.
Oh, it's a small. XX small.
Actually, we missed Oktoberfest. We were talking about this.
We did, yeah. We gotta make that next.
Have you guys ever been to it?
No,
not in Germany. No.
Okay, my brothers went once and he loves it.
Is it as big there? I feel like North Americans make like those holidays a lot bigger.
No, it's huge.
Like St. Patrick's Day, is it really that big in Ireland?
I don't know about that.
See?
Yeah, I mean St. Patrick's Day is more of an American holiday.
We bastardize a lot of things.
We did. We bastarded it because like there, it's like more of a like, isn't it like a religion type Catholic type thing?
I just know you drink beer.
I feel like
here in
loads
states
of beer
in America or states in Canada.
Canada. they probably take a day off drinking in Ireland for
that's their liver recovery day.
Yeah. But no, it's huge over in Germany. My brother went there. It's like massive.
So you've never gone there though?
I haven't.
Do you do like the things around here? Like Kildare does the St. Patrick's Day?
Actually, my least favorite holidays is it a holiday?
It's a beer. It's a
like
beer a day.
Halloween and St. Patrick's Day as like events are like my least favorite. I don't know why.
When you do your like murals and shit, are you listening to music? Do you put like AirPods in or something?
No, of course. Like,
what do you listen to?
My thing, like hip hop and
Miley Cyrus.
Of course.
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus mashed with Biggie Smalls.
Woo!
No, but
you make your own mix.
Yeah, I make my own mix. No. But,
what do you normally listen to?
No, my thing's like hip hop and not hip hop like Drake or Future. Like my hip hop was like Wu-Tang or like Shad from London or like
Wu-Tang.
So, of course, like obviously Wu and like Jay Dilla, but I think the best hip hop for the past like 10 years has been from Seattle, and Seattle hip hop artists have been fucking killing it. And maybe
what
you guys, if you guys are hip hop artists, you have to fucking listen to like Common Market. Man, people. Okay, honestly, I would say Macklemore is my favorite artist. Hands down.
Is he Seattle?
He's Seattle, but like people say, oh, you like Wu-Tang and M and Dre and like whatever, and you're thinking, and you throw in Macklemore. It's like, but people don't know old Macklemore. Macklemore was like such a crazy MC.
Yeah.
If you, I don't know, because
I have a few of his records and some of the earlier stuff before Thrift Shop. Or
yeah, no, that's
Thrift
all
Store.
whack. But man, his earlier shit is he's such an MC, and like Saul from Seattle and Grinch. Like, anyway,
you gotta remember,
that's what I'm getting into.
You got to remember, you're talking to two guys who Seattle to them means grunge.
Exactly, like obviously like Nirvana and a few others, and of course
that's. We
it's
grew
the
up
polar
with
opposite.
Yeah. So
exactly.
now to hear like hip hop's coming out of Seattle,
No, man,
like what
Seattle
happened?
is like to me, like personally, is the top of the game for the past like 10 years. And if you know, you know. If you don't, whatever.
Do you have like a schedule of projects coming up, or do they like come one at a time, or you like pick and choose what you want to do? Or?
Yeah, at the moment, I kind of pick and choose what I want, but it's so overwhelming because there's so many at the moment that you kind of have to pick and choose of what ones you want and what's best for like me at the moment. Like before, like in my start, like people are getting like city grants now and like big artist calls, like how big cities are like call to artists, like let's do this wall for this X amount of money.
Yeah.
Like back then, like even 5 years ago when I was doing it professionally, there wasn't like any of that in Windsor. And I remember like starting knocking door to door when I was like starting from graffiti and wanting my first mural, and like I was going like door to door, like every business, like, oh, paint your business for free, and just showcase like whatever I could at the time. Like I wasn't that like good at all. I wouldn't think I'm good now. Like there's always room for improvement and, you know, evolution of style and a technique. But
is that what you did for? What is it, Harry's Bubbles and Cream or whatever? What's the
some places?
What's the thing?
Yeah. Bubbles and Cream, yeah, it's for my homie Mo. Yeah, so like,
he commissioned you just to do like the outside?
Yeah, it's just like outside. Some places contact me for strictly like their business, like their logo and their brand.
So you do graphic design?
I started in graphic design. After high school, I went to St. Clair. I wanted to be a paramedic at the time, so I was like went into pre-health, and I did really well, but like little did I know you need insane amount of you would know.
Oh yeah.
Volunteer
hours.
Yeah. I didn't really. So out of the checklist out of like 20, I think I had like 2 or 3 that were like decent.
Good luck.
Yeah,
You'll never get an interview.
Exactly.
See ya.
So I was like, okay, fuck that. So after that year, whatever, I went into graphic design for 2 years, and second year, like year and a half, 2 years in, 2.5 years in, I was like, oh fuck this place. Like I'm not trying to sit behind a desk and just do menus and food restaurant bullshit. So during that, when I was in graphic design, I was painting like my first murals on like in Ford City and Drouillard, and I was skipping class to go fucking just to paint murals, and they're like, where are you at? Like, why aren't you doing your work? Why aren't you doing this? And you're not showing up. And I'm like, man, I'm just doing murals and blah blah blah. So that was like the start of it. And I just remember going like door to door, just asking for like permission to paint their walls for free, and doing walls for like $100, when now it's like whatever X amount of dollars. I was like, whatever. But there's going back to the like called out to artists or city grants. There's like none of that in Windsor, whereas like other places in the world, say like Denver or like other big metropolis cities like that, there's always been a massive like street art boom, and now Windsor's like kind of lagging behind.
It's weird because like Windsor's got that whole sculpture garden down at the waterfront, and like I don't know, I find like it's a new way to enhance the city look.
I feel like we're heading that way. Like with some of the projects that have happened recently, there's been some big murals that have happened.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Recently,
I hope we're heading in that direction.
Yeah. No, yeah. Recently, now Windsor's finally jumping on the train of like street art, and this is like the urban feel, and like I've been on that tip for like forever. And
was it a slow progression from like tagging your name and just tagging random train cars and stuff to go into murals, or did you just kind of decide I want to go big and just put your mind to that and start doing it?
Yeah.
Like, how'd you get from tagging your name to doing an 80-foot wall?
Yeah, man. No, it was the long haul for sure. Just from tagging for like 5 to 10 years, like solid, to like not having an art background. Like I'm all self-taught and taught myself all these. Like that's why I love my graffiti roots, because I learned so much from that, and learned like the can control and the skills that are involved from that, and I can implement that into murals. But I've even like since like grade 10, I was like, I see these people doing it overseas, and as a young kid, I was like, man, all I want to do is paint murals. And I was like, in the healthcare stuff, like in St. Clair at that time, and wanting to do that route. And I was like, I just want to paint murals. I didn't even know what it encompassed or like what was involved and like how much effort it would be or like what's like the back history of like how to even paint a wall. And I just kind of threw myself in it and learned definitely the hard way and learned every in and out of kind of how to do it. And yeah, it was a huge jump. Spanning years.
Massive.
Yeah, it took years to get to that point, but
Jesus.
yeah.
What was like? What and where was your first mural that you were like, yeah, like I can do this now? Like you're like the mural that started everything.
Yeah. Well, there's kind of like not specifically a mural, but it was kind of a point in time where I was getting into art. Like this was after kind of when I was in college and I was tagging and like I did my first murals in Ford City. It was like this boxing mural, and I was like. That was when I was telling you about I was skipping college to go paint, and everyone,
Right.
all my instructors were like, where are you going? Like, why aren't you doing your work? I was skipping college to go do that, and it was kind of like after that where I was like, okay, like I really kind of want to do this. This is my first wall. Like I had a studio, like an art studio, and drew art as well, and I was doing canvases, and I did this one Jimi Hendrix canvas and sold it to my buddy. I just ran into him yesterday, my homie Temporal, and doing that canvas for him for like dirt cheap. I didn't know kind of like where that would catapult me, but that was, to bring it back to your question, that was like the first time I kind of knew that I wanted to do art. Like I was always dabbling from graffiti and doing canvases, but that one canvas of the Jimi Hendrix kind of put me into that one lane where I was like, okay, I can really do this. And that was kind of the same time with that, my first mural. But then, yeah, I went to Toronto. I moved to Toronto in like 2013 or 14, and I went there for art. And got rid of my truck, so I didn't have any equipment, any like vehicle, so I was just strictly doing canvases. And yeah, just long story short, I was like serving for the longest time there, like 2 or 3 years I was serving, and I got laid off 1 year in like 2016, like the beginning, like right when 2015 turned to 16, I lost my job, and I was like, fuck it, like now is the time to really dive in and sink my teeth into art. And I did this my first massive like charcoal and graphite drawing. It was a Biggie, like a Biggie Smalls drawing. And right then and there, I was like, you know what? I just got laid off from my job. I'm gonna draw this thing I've always wanted to draw. I drew. It was like 6 feet by like 5 feet. It was a big drawing. I still cherish it to this day. It's in like New York or something in not a museum, in a gallery right now. And that was the very first time I was like, I'm doing this full time. And I was like, I'm not. Since then, I told myself, I was like, I'm not working another job. I'm not working for somebody no more. I'm doing art full time, taking it all my heart and all my soul and putting it into it. And yeah, since then I haven't worked a job, and I've been full time since like beginning 2016. So that was like the main shift, was losing my job in Toronto and then sinking my teeth into art then. So
okay, Derkatz, we've been here all night.
Yeah, baby.
We need to wrap this up. So let's go to socials. If people want to reach you on socials, how are they getting a hold of you?
Yeah, so I basically just have Facebook and Instagram. My Facebook is at DERKZ, all capitals, DERKZ, and my Instagram is just at DERKZ, so DERKZ.
Solid.
Yeah.
If they want to get a hold of us, Gus, how do they do that?
We're twodudesandamic.com. Check us out on Instagram, 2 Dudes and a Mic. Facebook,
Yeah.
2 Dudes and a Mic.
Yeah, start following us on Instagram
Yeah.
too, because we maxed out the profile thing on Facebook.
And if you want to find DERKZ other than his social media, just look for the DERKZ at DERKZ tag on murals across the
everywhere.
city.
There you go.
Literally everywhere.
Yeah.
Too many to count. Too many to count.
Too many.
So we're going to do the final shot here of the night. This is going to be the rum chata and the fireball, courtesy of Carol from City Barbershop. So shout out, Carol. Here we go.
Yeah, baby.
Everybody listening, guys, girls, all the dudes. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Shalom.